Welcome to another episode of Chicago Edition. I'm here with my co-host, Jay Rizzo from Rizzo Rants. It's been a while since we've been on. Life been taking a toll on us. Holiday season, work, trying to get everything situated.
Yeah, man. But Chicago sports never stops. So we're here now and can fill everybody in what's happened in these last 3 weeks.
Yep. So let's go ahead and start off with the Chicago Bears. Ever since Mitch Trubisky took over the offense, the Bears, for some reason, have identity on offense all of a sudden. They have a running game all of a sudden. The offensive line doesn't look as horrible all of a sudden. And they're averaging over 30 points a game all of a sudden. So is that Mitch Trubisky was really the truth? Because before he was benched, the Bears were 3-0 in games he started. Or is the coaching staff finally figure out how to coach?
I'm not gonna say like they figured out how to coach all of a sudden and they're just starting to get into their groove or anything like that. Me and you both have been on the Mitch bandwagon the whole time, at least for the Bears. Um, that he was the best quarterback for this team if they wanted any chance to win. And that me and you both were saying that healthy offensive line or not, he's just best for what Nagy's offense is. But especially with a bad offensive line, you got to have a QB in there that's going to be able to move out of the pocket a little bit. You can't have a guy like Nick Foles back there. It's just going to be awful. And then for him to be bad, it's not going to help the running game because they don't have to respect it or anything like that. And yeah, so I do think that Mitch coming back has opened up the offense a lot more. They have been calling a lot smarter plays for him, a lot more bootlegs, a lot more using his legs, which I've always said that's the best way to use Mitch. And you could see it in every game since he's come back that the game plan has been to use these legs, use him. He's a mobile QB. He's always looked better when he's gotten outside of the pocket. And then that helps the running game even more. And you've seen David Montgomery now finally look like that running back that we were hoping when they took him in the second round 2 years ago. He was supposed to take over after who was it that left? Got him. Jordan Howard. Jordan Howard. So he was supposed to be the complement, to Tariq Cohen. And they were supposed to be a little 1-2 punch. Cohen went out immediately in the first game of the season, and that wasn't good or anything like that for Montgomery for sure. But you could just see like his confidence would get shot though when Nagy would just kill him after one bad run, and then they'd go away from him. You got to keep running backs involved, otherwise they kind of get dead legs and they don't care about the game anymore. And I think now they've been feeding him so much, giving him the ball, that I think it's really just revived him, and you've seen a better step from him. You've seen him break more tackles. You've seen him look better in even the pass blocking, pass catching. Like he's kind of doing everything for us right now, and this is what we were getting. So I'm glad to see that, and I hope going forward that we don't have to worry about running backs anymore because I was worried about David Montgomery. I wasn't sure if this guy was going to pan out or not. These last 4 or 5 weeks makes me feel good about going in next season. I would like to see it over a full season. But yeah, what I've seen, he's been top 5 running back last 4 or 5 weeks for sure.
Right. Yeah, even when Montgomery didn't have the yards and we didn't have a running game, for some odd reason, he still led the league in broken tackles, which was a crazy stat. So it's definitely the coaching staff definitely showed more commit to run with Mitch Trubisky went back as starter. I will say that the benching of Mitch Trubisky gave him the confidence or the will to start voicing his opinion. I guess I guess some of the stuff Nick Foles did rubbed off on him because Nick Foles didn't agree with everything Nagy did, and he said these plays don't work and this don't work. So it been throughout Chicago media and in interviews that Mr. Trubisky said he'd been calling for more plays for David Montgomery, for Komet, or saying tight end that we drafted high for Allen Robinson, a true number one wide receiver, which is hard to find in the NFL. And also Allen Robinson, I think Allen Robinson and Devontae Adams are the only two receivers that they haven't dropped a pass in like in the last year or two. Because their numbers are crazy of dropping passes. That like they have zero drop passes. And then on top of that, yeah, they started calling. And on top of that, the Bears look like they finally got an identity on offense. They're a run offense now instead of this spread offense and pass heavy offense when we had Nick Foles in there. Mitch Trubisky does look a lot more confident. Is he great? No, he's not great. Does he make bad throws? Yes, he makes bad throws. But is he able to win us some games? Yeah, he's able to win his games. He's able to put us in position to win. This team was always built on defense. You know what I'm saying? And at a certain point of the season, I want to say that Green Bay game, the defense just stopped playing because the offense was just that horrible. The defense is like, you know what? You guys ain't put in effort. We ain't going to put in effort. And that cost us against – I want to say that cost us against the Lions because the Lions should have never beat us.
Well, I mean, you had that stretch right there of it was like 3 or 4 games where you could just see the defense just didn't care. They weren't into the game. They didn't care what was going on. Didn't matter if the offense was playing well or not. Packers game, I mean, it was just like a rivalry game after a bye week. Come out and just look that bad. It was shocking to me to like see the no intensity. Only people that showed intensity in that whole game were Montgomery and Mitch, but then you had the Detroit game, and the defense just couldn't stop anything. The offense did everything in their power to win that game, and then the defense did everything they could to lose it. So it was kind of weird, but then Texans game happened, and you see when this team gets up and they want to play, they are one of the best defenses in the league, and then mix it in and the offense is playing well, you do have a team that could be really scary to an opponent for sure and make some noise in the playoffs. But I haven't seen enough consistency here, and I'm still not all for them winning out. I was for them throwing in the towel when we fell to 5-6 and just folding personally. I mean, I'm all for them letting Mitch play and was hoping that to see Montgomery look better, which he has. Give Gold Komet some more reps since he's your draft pick. You got to see that. And I feel that's the way that you should do on most franchises if you're just kicking in the season. Let your young guys play so you can see what you need to develop or if you need to draft something else. But now they've won again and they're at 7-7 and they're in this playoff hunt. They get Jacksonville this week. That's probably a win. That's going to put them at 8-7. And then week 17, you get to play the Packers, who might be sitting guys, especially if they clinch number 1 seed in NFC and they don't have to worry about anything. They already clinched the division. So if they clinch their first round bye, they ain't going to be playing anybody either. So the Bears very easily could get to 9-7. Now, that's not a guarantee that they're going to make the playoffs with a 9-7 record, but 9-7 and you won your last 4 actually, when you were 5-7, is that gonna sway the owners and the brass of the Bears to not do anything about this coaching staff and GM, do you think?
They was not gonna do, regardless of what happens, they was not gonna do anything for the simple fact that Detroit Lions game should have been the game where everybody should have got fired, top to bottom. Pace, I've been defending Pace for a long time. There's no defending him anymore. Nagy, not a fan of Nagy, obviously. But everybody should, after that Detroit game, everybody should have been fired. Now the Bears are basically a shoo-in. Well, nothing's a shoo-in, but the odds are in their favor to make the playoffs. You got Jacksonville Jaguar, who just clinched the tiebreaker for first overall pick. So they're really not going to try to mess that up. There's only 2 games left in the season.
Well, you would have thought the Jets weren't trying to mess it up either, but then they They do. So, but yeah, I agree with you. The Jags, they look like they have zero hope, and
Right.
they really should be trying to lose.
Right. And then you touched on the Packers, and they do look like they're going to get that first round bye and before week 17. And if that happens, there really is no need for them to play their starters. And the Bears could use it as a redemption game because they just came out flat. They are unprepared. They make no sense. You coming off a bye week against a rival team to be that unprepared. And then we need help. And you need the Arizona Cardinals to lose, which I like to dub them as the Chicago Cardinals. So either case scenario, my team's going to the playoff.
Well, I mean, so you got the Cardinals who are above us by a game, and then the Cardinals are going to be playing the Rams this week, who, if they lose, then we're only a game behind the Rams, who just lost to the Jets and are kind of on a downswing right now, which we might jump the Rams if we were to win. Now, I can't remember. We didn't play the Rams this year, did we?
No.
I don't think we did, because it would have came down to head if we had the same record between them, but then it'll come down to divisional record and all that. My only issue with this is like I always root for my teams to make the playoffs and all that, and I hope the Bears win, because I'm a Bears fan. But as a realistic fan of this franchise, I really think the only way they can move forward, they have to get rid of Nagy and Pace right now. I don't care if they finish 9-7. Just like when they fired Lovie Smith when he went 10-6. It was kind of like I felt it like they did, that it was just time. Even though they went 10-6, I just felt it was time. Nagy, to me, with that 6-game losing streak, you blow that game against Detroit. You had that atrocious performance against a rival, your biggest rival, after a bye week. Like, you can't have this happen during the season. And this team was, like I said, they were 5-1. We were almost a shoo-in to make the playoffs. Then people were saying, but even some smarter fans were wondering too, because a lot of people kind of saw some losses coming. But some of the ones they had, it's just like it was all because of the coaching.
Just moving along, the Chicago Bulls preseason is over. The season's about to start. A lot of people are excited about the Bulls. A lot of people saw a lot of good things. Williams did look good out there. He did look like we made the right pick. And the Bull, Donovan does look like the right coach for the job. And there's a few things. One, the Bulls still can't play defense. You know what I'm saying? But I did see a game where Zach LaVine showed effort on defense, which I was highly shocked about.
It's a step in the right direction.
Right. And the first thing about playing defense, it takes effort. And then the second thing about defense, it takes
that's 75% of it.
Yeah. So I was excited about that, but man, I keep watching the Charlotte Hornets, and I keep watching LaMelo Ball, and even when he has a bad game, it looks good. And I'm like, why? Why didn't we just trade with Golden State? They were entertaining the thought. Why didn't we just pull the trigger?
Here's the thing, man. What I've seen from LaMelo Ball, yes, there have been glimpses, but it's also it almost reminds me of Jason Williams right now. People probably don't understand that name when I say it a lot. And I'm not talking about Jason Williams, who was on the Nets, who shot somebody. No, I'm talking about white chocolate Jason Williams from Sacramento Kings. That's what I see when I see in LaMelo Ball right now, which flashy, it's exciting, but right now LaMelo Ball is going to need a lot of work from what I've seen. I like him, and I told you that would have been my pick too, because the main thing that worries me going into the season is the point guard position for the Bulls.
Right.
And that's the only reason I wanted to take LaMelo, is because I knew that we already had two guards that could score in Kobe and in Zach LaVine. The problem is they want to run both of them on the floor at the same time. Fine, you're going to score, but who's going to be the facilitator? Who's going to be the distributor? You don't have one right now. As much as what I've seen from those guys, and I liked in the preseason that both of them showed that They're going to be one of the top scoring duos in the NBA, one of the top scoring backcourts for sure. They're not going to be good defensively because they both try so hard on offense that they don't really give a whole lot of effort on defense, which means the rest of the team, which is going to be Laurie, who's not known as a defender either, Wendell Carter, they're trying to hope. They're hoping he can be a defender, but you know how I feel about him. And then Patrick Williams, what I've seen from him, I think he is going to be your best defender on the court most nights if he is going to be your starter at small forward. So you're hoping a rookie who's 19 is going to be able to help all these other bad defenders. Then let alone now, once you get the ball in offense, though, you got two guys looking to score. You got another guy in Laurie who's a scorer. Wendell Carter, I don't know what the hell they try to do with him on offense. He needs to stay away from the three-point line. If he shoots any more threes, I would bench him immediately because, goddamn, I'm sick of seeing just brick threes from him thinking he can shoot. No, not every big man can shoot. It's a thing that they want all big men to do. That doesn't mean you can. Wendell Carter, you can't. You think you can, but you can't. Get your big ass in the paint and stay there. Okay? I want you to rebound, block shots. That's it. I don't care about anything else. Stop worrying about people on Instagram or messing with your Instagram and saying that you're calling on girls and sending DMs. Get all that crap out of here. Just go out, play defense, be a normal big man. It would really help this team because you got so many scorers. You need some junk guys. You need some garbage people. You need a Joakim Noah, something like that. You need toughness. And Wendell Carter, to me right now, is just soft. And it pisses me off because you can't be soft at that position. It is a softer position now than it was, but you can't be soft. You can't have all team of guys that just don't play defense. Like, who's tough? Who are you scared of when you're going up against the Bulls right now and you're on offense?
No one.
No one. You're going to go to the paint all day. You're not going to worry about them stopping any type of shots. They don't. The biggest thing is, too, like, they don't really stop anybody from shooting threes even. Like, it's not even that they're just getting out physical. Like, they're not even guarding people shooting threes. And it's like, man, if you're not going to just guard anything, like, well, what are we going to do here? And I get it. You got to get this Jim Boylan crap out of there, which I don't know what kind of coaching. He was using a coaching for dummies playbook probably that he got off of eBay or some crap, and that's how he was trying to coach. So I feel bad for him because they got to get all that out of their head. That's the stuff they were running. Now they got to get back into a real NBA system with Billy Donovan, who has run he runs a good defense. It's just going to take time, which sucks because this team, it's going to come out and it's going to probably not be good for the first 15, 20 games. You'll see the defense, I think, gradually get better. But the defense and the point guard thing really worry me right now. Because I don't like any of the guys on the bench either. I don't like Sadarinsky. I definitely don't like Garrett Temple. I hate that. That Arstiano guy, I hate him. I can't stand seeing him out there. He's still rocking man buns. Doesn't someone need to tell him, like, those went out way back, like 10 years ago? I don't think anybody's been rocking those for a while. Yeah. So it's like, I don't know what he's doing. And it's just like, I like the Dotson kid, but he's probably going to go to the G League just because you have so many other point guards that you're paying. So he's not even going to get a shot. So it's like, it kills me because you could have signed Chris Dunn. You know, we talked about that. But now this is what we have. And I like what our offense is going to do. The defense worries me. I liked what I've seen out of Patrick Williams. I'm not going to lie. The kid looks a lot better than I even thought. He has a lot of skills, I think, that we're going to see over the course of this year. And I really love if they're going to start him and tell Otto Porter to just fuck off because I hate him. But, man, he's getting paid a lot of money. So they have to figure something out with him. So I hope if Otto Porter doesn't start, you got to play him minutes because you got to show him off to some team that's going to be willing to take that contract, maybe that's trying to make a playoff push, that if they add Otto Porter, it'll help. Because when Otto Porter can play well, he can be a helpful piece to a team that's going to go in the playoffs. But for a team like the Bulls, it's terrible to have because he's just eating up cap space and you don't want him and you just drafted someone at his position. Right. So I really hope that they do start Patrick Williams. I think it'll show that the Bulls are looking more forward than really caring about this year. Because, I mean, personally, could this team make the playoffs? Sure. There's 10 teams that are going to make it this year. Technically 10. The last two have that little play-in thing or whatever. But whatever. You're counted as a playoff team if you're the 10th seed. Could the Bulls make the 10th seed? Yes. Do I think they're going to make the 10th seed? No. I think they're going to be like 12th and maybe miss it by a couple of games.
So second to the worst. Well, how many teams are in the East?
There's
14?
15. There's 15 in each, so they're going to be 12th. I mean, how high do you have the Bulls finishing?
Yeah, you're right.
At the highest, you got to tell me that it would probably be 10.
No, I don't even have them finish 10. They're not making a play-in tournament because for the simple fact they don't play defense. Yeah, because you can do all the scoring you want, but they literally don't. They don't guard the perimeter. They don't guard the paint. They have no identity at the moment. They don't have no star at the moment. They don't have no leadership at the moment.
I mean, it's hard for me to say they don't have a star. Levine is a star, but he does not play the other side of the ball. That's the problem. Offensively, he's as talented as anybody at the guard position. Kobe White, talented, super talented, but he's playing out of position too. Really, like for this team to be at its best is they needed to get a point guard, so Kobe White could have been coming off the bench, and then you would have had Kobe White coming off the bench. He would have been a perennial 6 Man of the Year candidate immediately because of that, because what he did off the bench last year and starting somewhat a little bit, you could see like he's instant offense, but as a just overall starter that's going to be maybe playing point guard, no. And could he have started if Levine's not here and you got a point guard? Yes. So there's a lot of things that the Bulls are going to have to see when this season gets started because there's a lot of moving pieces that they need to do. They need to get rid of some of these bad contracts. You got to get rid of Otto Porter. You got to get rid of Thaddeus Young. If you could get someone to take Feliciano's terrible contract. I don't know why we signed back Denzel Valentine. Like, that one makes no sense to me.
He's a glue guy.
Where the hell is he going to play?
He's not there to play. He's just there to keep the locker room in order.
You don't pay someone that much money to do that. That's stupid. Yes, that's what I'm saying. You can't have these guys. Okay, then you try to, I guess if you're calling him a glue guy.
You do.
If you're calling him a glue guy, cool. I hope they sell that to some other team and they take him away. There's just so many pieces that this team doesn't need anymore. And I think they need to get rid of it to get that Gar Forman, Jim Boylan taste out of this roster, really. You know, find out what your core is this year. Hope Patrick Williams gets better. See if Wendell Carter can develop. If he can't, I'm shipping him too. And people might want him because he's only 21. He's a big guy. You know, someone might take a chance on him because if he goes somewhere else and he gets the right coaching, he might be good. He needs to get out of Chicago though. I think he's wasted. I think he's been wasted here and got messed up by Boylan, as did Lauri. Although what I've seen in the preseason, I see Lauri's confidence back and his swagger, which I love because that's what they need if they want to keep him too. If they're going to keep Lauri, you saw what you needed in the preseason. Now you just got to keep coaching that. And I hope they do that because they're keeping him in his position. They're not telling him to do something different each game. They're letting Lauri play as Lauri like he did when he had that awesome rookie season.
Right. Yeah. Like I said, the Warriors wanted Carter. You know, missed opportunity.
I told you I would have done that one in a heartbeat. If anybody wanted Wendell Carter and whoever else and our draft pick and we're swapping draft picks and we're moving up, I was all for it. But I hated that Wendell Carter pick when it was made. Thought it was terrible. It's a big guy that thinks he can shoot, but he can't. It's a big guy that wants to act like he can rebound, but doesn't play tough or big. And it's a guy who thinks he's a defender just because he's tall, but he doesn't put any effort in on how to play defense.
Right. Talking about Lauri, should or should not the Bulls extend his contract because he's
they missed the day today, so obviously it's not going to get extended now. Now it has to go into the season at some point. I personally, what I saw in the preseason, he would be part of the core guys I would keep. Core guys I would keep right now really are just like Lauri, Patrick Williams, and Kobe White would be my three that I would roll with. I love Zach LaVine. If you could get him to play defense, yes, but I don't like his contract as much. His contract's nuts. I don't know if you're going to find someone to take that, but I mean, if LaVine has an all-star season and there's some teams going into the playoffs looking to add another all-star, that might be something to look at because you could get it off the books. And if you want to start fresh, you can start fresh with your young nucleus of those three. Draft another good guy this year, get some draft picks for LaVine, and roll with that. But I would have loved to see him extended. I was hoping that they were gonna. I know they were trying to talk, but it sounds like their numbers were far apart. So now it makes me worried a little bit. If he does play well, but you are finding out that you're not going to be able to sign him back, then if you have to trade Lauri, then that's what you got to do. I mean, this team, like I said, I wanted to see him get out of this crapness of being at the bottom of the league, but it's just we're going to have to wait some more. And if Lauri's part of the things that gets us closer to this, like we're kind of starting a new, fresh rebuild with him, I can't blame him since it's a whole new regime, new coaching staff. Like, that's what the Bull season is to me this year. We got to figure out if Donovan really is the coach for the Bulls. We got to figure out what we got in Patrick Williams, what we got in Kobe White, what we got in Lauri, if you're going to keep all them. If you're going to keep LaVine, you got to find out if can LaVine be the superstar of the team. You got to figure all these things out. So the Bulls have a lot of question marks they have to figure out. This is another reason why I don't think they're going to be a playoff team. Because you can't have this many question marks and expect to just be in the playoffs immediately, So I'm excited, though. I'm excited to watch this season, see what we got. We don't have some rec league coach out there, which makes me happy. I don't even know if Jim Boylan's good enough to be in the rec league. Let me say that dude shouldn't be a coach anywhere.
He's
of
not
anything.
good enough for an AAU team.
Hell, I would be mad if he was coaching my daughters.
A couple things that we missed. The Pro Bowl announcement were released, and Khalil Mack made the Pro Bowl again, and Cordell Patterson made a Pro Bowl for special teams.
Yeah, both makes sense.
Yep.
Allen Robinson should have made it. I'll say that.
Allen Robinson definitely got snubbed.
I mean, I'm trying to think though. NFC's tough.
But it was. You could say he got snubbed.
Got
but
Adams.
The guys that made it before him, Devontae Adams, yeah.
Hopkins, Adam Thielen.
Yeah. No. Metcalf, yeah. Justin Jefferson, yeah. Adam Thielen didn't make it.
Jefferson made it over Thielen.
Yeah.
Adam Thielen had like 14 touchdowns.
Yeah, but Jefferson.
Jefferson to me is the rookie of the year, but Adam Thielen is having a better overall season just for this one season.
Yeah. But yeah.
NFC's tough.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if I would take Allen Robinson over Justin Jefferson as much as I like Justin Jefferson. Allen Robinson's having a better year than Justin Jefferson, stat-wise. It's just that he's the hot name of the week, that's all. Not that he's not well-deserved, but to put him over Allen Robinson, to put him over his teammate Adam Thielen, I don't know about all that. That's where the fan stuff gets a little goofy for me. You know what I mean? Like, right. I love Justin Jefferson. He'd be my rookie of the year choice. Not even close. And I thought he was the best wide receiver coming out of this loaded wide receiver draft, which had a lot of great wide receivers, and they've all kind of shown it this season. But no, I can't put him over those other two.
Right. Moving along to the winter meetings, baseball. So the biggest thing that happened for the Chicago Cubs is Theo Epstein is not the president anymore. What's his name? Jed Hoyer took over. Theo's right-hand man. He took over. So then after that, everybody's wondering, are the Cubs going to rebuild? Are the Cubs going to retool? And right now, we look like we decided on the rebuild. We didn't gave Schrober his qualifying offer, so he's now officially a free agent. We did for Bryant, though. Yu Darvish is on the trade block, which he's, could have won Cy Young. He put up numbers to win Cy Young last year. He definitely had a great year last year. He finally looked like what we paid all this money for as a pitcher. So I don't know. I don't know what the Cubs are trying to do because they've been real quiet. They haven't been making moves. This is the quietest they've been for quite some time now. I want to blame ownership because the ownership handcuffed or limit Theo Espy the last couple of years or the last few years on what he can and cannot do to build a team. And you cannot do that to a guy like Theo Espy because he knows what it takes to win a championship. He brought a championship to Chicago. And after he brought the championship to Chicago, you guys limit him to do what he needs to do to continue bringing championships to Chicago. Instead of investing into what got you money, what got you your revenue, which was a team, the Chicago Cubs, you started putting money into a neighborhood that you want to buy up, into these buildings you want to buy up, into stuff that honestly is not going to exist anymore. Like you bought a movie theater across the street from Wrigley Field, and movie theater is about to die. So that was not a smart investment. But the White Sox has been making a lot of noise.
They have. It's been exciting. The crazy thing to me is that there's analysts and it's more fans actually, and White Sox Twitter, which I get into a lot with, which it kind of blows my mind, man. White Sox Twitter is nuts. Like we fight. I think they fight between each other more than any other fan base I've ever seen that I've ever looked at. They argue with each other, and it's like you guys are arguing about the team that you like. You're not arguing about like someone's coming in and saying the Twins are better. No, you guys are arguing about the White Sox against the damn White Sox. This move they made to get Lance Lynn is a really, really good move. Anybody that doesn't think that it is just idiotic right now. We're not in a rebuild anymore. The rebuild's over, guys. We can give away some prospects. We have to give away prospects now. Like this is the moves that we have to make to become a World Series contender. What we got in Lance Lynn is that dude's been a number one for Texas for the last 2 seasons. And for the last 2 seasons, he's finished in the top 10 of the Cy Young voting for the American League. So literally that gives you now in your 1 spot, you have Giolito, your 2 spot, you have Keuchel, and your 3rd spot, you're going to have Lance Lynn. Those 3 guys all finished in the top 10 of the Cy Young voting in the American League. So you have 3 Cy Young contenders now on your team, and you're pissed off because we gave away Dane Dunning, who's not even one of our top prospects anymore. He did great for us this last season, guys, and I wish him the best. I hope he has a good career in Texas or wherever else he's going to be. But the White Sox are trying to win now, guys. We're not setting up anymore for a 5-year plan to rebuild. We're on our 5-year World Series plan now. And White Sox fans need to realize that. You're going to have to give some of these pieces up that you didn't want to. But Dane Dunning, to me, I feel like, geez, if that's all you wanted, I would have done that during the season. Because you didn't have to give up Kopech. You didn't have to give up Madrigal. You didn't have to give up Crochet. You didn't have to give up Stever. You didn't have to give up Vaughn. Those are all names that I didn't want to see go, and none of them went. And hell, I'll even throw Cease in there. I really don't want to Cease. I still believe him. I still think if he gets the right coaching and he gets his mechanics down and those walks down, I still think he can be really good. So you didn't have to give up any of those guys. And you got a guy now, you got 3 starters now that have all been proven in the playoffs. 2 of them have won World Series now because Lance Lynn won World Series his rookie season. And guess who his rookie season was with? Tony La Russa was his coach. So you already got a guy now that kind of knows what La Russa does as a coach. How much better could you have hoped to get for a 3rd pitcher? I would have loved to have Trevor Bauer, and they could still maybe even go out and get him. But the price that we had to pay to get Lance Lynn, I'm ecstatic about. I was jumping for joy when I saw that. Because when I saw the trade and I didn't know who it was, I was like, damn, I think they gave up Vaughn. And I was going to be pissed. Because I think Vaughn's the best hitter in the minors right now. He's one of the best prospects just hitting wise out there, and I really didn't want to give him up. But then to hear that it was just Dane Dunning and Avery Weems, I was like, dude, we stole right there. And then they went out and they signed Adam Eaton, and another one that we've had him here before, and White Sox fans are getting pissed off about that because they're like, why are we signing an aging outfielder when we need outfield help? And it's like, I don't think they realize like not Adam Dunn, I'm sorry, I think I said Dunn, Adam Eaton. I don't think they realize when he was here, that dude can play left, center, and right. So that right there is already great. Even if he's not a starter, outfield depth. The guy has won a World Series. So you have more playoff experience and World Series experience that you need on this team because you're still all very young. And most of you just tasted postseason for the first time. But then also, you can put Adam Eaton anywhere in the lineup. He can hit anywhere.
Right. And one thing you really missed out on Adam Eaton, he puts the ball in play.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's crucial. That's crucial come playoff time.
Of course, and it's great for this team because you have so many other power and RBI guys that you don't really need it everywhere. But yeah, when you play Adam Eaton, you can bat him 1 through 9, wherever you want to put him. He knows how to hit. He's a professional hitter.
Yep. With that being said, no news from the Blackhawks. No news
Other than I think I saw the hockey is doing like a shortened season too. They're going to start even later than NBA. I think that's what I saw. Like they're shortening the season.
Yeah. What else? Nothing about the Chicago Sky, and nothing about Chicago Fire. So that's pretty much it. You got any closing remarks?
It was nice to have college football this year. We don't talk about it that much here because there's not really any great teams in Chicago. I guess Northwestern would be the one, and you got Illinois, who fired Lovey. Sorry, Lovey.
Notre Dame's in the playoffs.
Yeah, they're Indiana, man. Whatever they want to say. Whatever. They're Indiana. Okay? So, and I hate Notre Dame, so I hope they get smashed. And I'm not even a huge Alabama fan. But what I will say is, I love college football. I love college sports. I think it's great. Kids go out there, they play their heart out. But this season was just wrecked. And you're already starting to see it again in college basketball with cancellations almost every week, every day that there's games. There's never a full slate. But I think it's a little ridiculous to try to judge teams that only played like 5 or 6 games compared to some teams that played like a full schedule of like not a full but close to full, like a 9 or 10 game thing. So I just hope if this ever happens again, like the only teams that qualify are teams that play a certain amount of games, and it should never be super low. I don't care if you win your division, but if you only played 5 games, I don't care. You're not in my opinion. Like Ohio State getting in, good job, you beat Northwestern. I will say that I think Michigan tried to fuck them over by not playing just so they couldn't get in because they wouldn't hit the games. And Jim Harbaugh didn't want to get smashed again by Ohio State. So I think they were really hoping that this was going to like make it so Ohio State couldn't get in because they didn't play enough games. But then they go in and they change the rules that they made before the season started. That's another thing. Like that should never happen in any league. If that happened in a fantasy league, you would have outrage by people. They would quit. They would want their buy-in back. Like, I'm not doing this. If you had it in any other leagues, what? You're changing a rule that we all agreed on was good before the season started, and now you're changing it mid-season? No. So I'm hoping if this ever comes up again, you either make it where everybody has to play the same amount of games. I don't care if they have to make up games or what. They got to figure something out. Or you just should not have – the season should just not count at all.
Right. Totally agree. Some of these seasons, they should have never restarted. Like hockey should have never restarted. The NBA should have never restarted. The college football wasn't prepared to have a season, but because of the SEC was prepared and they already had everything set up. Obviously, they all played more than 10 games, and it just threw everyone else because the Big Ten and the Big 12 were two conferences that wasn't set up for it. And you see Ohio State won the Big Ten by only playing like 5 or 6 games. It's ridiculous. My only closing remark, I'll give you guys some pro tips. Disney World is different now. It's not what it used to be. You have to plan for everything. If you want an ice cream, you have to plan to have ice cream. Like before, I know you used to have to plan that you have dinner or lunch or whatever with the princess or whoever it might be, or you had a scheduled time where like Mickey Mouse is the chef at a certain restaurant. And I get those. But they also had other restaurants where you could just go in, sit down, get something to eat, and go back, You don't have that anymore. Due to COVID, everything is through an app. Everything is planned. Like you have to plan everything to the T, which makes no sense because the only people that really want to go to Disney World are little kids, and you cannot plan like that with little kids. So thank you, COVID.
Don't forget to say that you better make sure you have a pretty large bankroll too if you're going to go to Disney.
Oh yeah, that goes without doubt. And then again, like they got all these rules for COVID, and then they got a section. They literally have a section where you can relax and not have your mask on. So I'm like, okay, what sense did that make? Or here's another one. You go to the restaurant, and I'm not lying to you. If you go to the restaurant, it's Hunger Games. You know what I'm saying? First of all, you got to make reservation. Then they have everybody outside the restaurant until your food is made. Then you get in the restaurant, right? The one we went into, you had to fight for tables. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you got a table. You had to fight for a table. And then it's not like they're practicing social distancing. Like they got a couple, like they have a table. This table ain't available, but there's 3 tables around you that are available, and everybody's within arm length of each other. Like people are on top of each other. Like it's like being in a school cafeteria. Like if you lean back, you're bumping into somebody. And obviously nobody's wearing masks in the restaurant. It's just like these people are now putting in rules. Place for COVID, not to protect us or not to prevent the spread, is just for, I guess, so they don't get fined or just for annoyance, because they're definitely not doing it to any prevent. Like, how you have a place where everybody got to wear a mask and everybody got to do this, but then you have multiple locations where it doesn't matter you have a mask on. That's why we set it up for.
I don't know, man. I don't know on that one. I mean, I'll agree with you that Disney World's probably not on my to-do list.
Yeah, not well, because of COVID, it ruined the magic a little. But yeah. But on that, we're out.